Good morning, everybody. We are live. We have Josh here. It's Landscaping to the Point. I am Scott, Landscapes by Acme. If you don't know me, Josh, you should know. He's always in the attic. I'm always the one with the tall hair. Everybody knows me from that. So it's been an interesting week, per se. I think a lot of people. It's been very interesting. We're gonna turn some music off. I don't know if we want to play music the whole time. So it's been a very interesting week. I just got back from the expo. Josh has been knocking out estimates. I'm assuming. I bet probably doing a patio job lately this week. Yeah,
America,
yeah.
I got guys doing retention pond clearing for a
Ooh,
company that fell
that's
behind
interesting.
on it. So
That's interesting. So do you have all that stuff on hand, or you have to rent any of that stuff?
I'll be honest with you. So it's six guys up there on my crew. It's a mini skid steer with a brush cutter we rent, which
Okay.
I need to buy one next year because I don't like once you've been established and you have the work. I mean, the thing is literally another laborer to have one of those things. It's like it's a must have, I think, before a skid, depending on like if you do my type of work. And then honestly, the rest of it we do hedge trimmer extensions and weed whackers. Here he
Well,
is. There's the new
yeah.
puppy.
The puppy. This is the puppy I adopted, Rocco. Yeah, he's a terror already. It's like having a baby. If you haven't had a baby, it's like having a baby.
My
So you have to rent all that stuff.
uh the skids, the mini skid and the brush cutter, yes. I get
Okay.
deals on it because I rent from a guy that I know or we're close with. But other than that, yeah, it was hedge trim extensions and weed whackers. And then like, we were gonna bring our skids down, but there was no point. But I think it's they've been there for a week. I think the way they have to work there, it's within certain hours. So they got 30 hours in last week, and 30 hours times six guys, and then they'll get Monday, and hopefully they're out of the Monday because they got to go to the job.
Wow.
But it's I don't want to call it easy money, but it's kind of foolproof. Like you can't really jack it up or mess it up unless you're a complete
Right.
moron. But yeah, no,
Right.
I like it. I don't get a lot of those jobs, so when they come around like that, I like them because it's the majority you're billing labor. I'm billing dump truck, mini skid, foreman, and five laborers.
That's not bad. I mean, it's one of those things. Like we did some retention ponds before. We've done like creek sides, which is pretty much the same thing as what you're doing, cleaning up and stuff. So, I mean, it's time consuming, but it's actually nice billable hours, really, if you think about it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's working when you don't have a crap load of work, probably, and you can do it and send a guy there a couple days or a couple guys there and just go out at it. So
The
yeah,
the company the company that brought us out, another landscape company was doing it, but they were so far behind, and they called me up and asked for some help, and they had estimated 3 weeks, and we looked at it, we laughed, and we got them to the point where, like I said, we've been there a week Monday, and they're only like 27 to 30 hours in, and then Monday will be the sixth day, and they're out of there Monday.
wow.
So
That's pretty good. That's
yeah,
pretty good, though. I mean, especially if that guy, figured 3 weeks and here you're gonna knock it out in a week and a day. Like dude, that's totally awesome. Like,
I mean they got a crew of four plus their foreman, so they got five. We got six. So my foreman kind of took the reins and gave me a game plan to work with, and just kind of knocked it down, in a line.
yeah, that's awesome. So it's got to be a big pond. That's all I gotta say. It's got to be a
It's
big
it's,
area.
it's several.
Several of them.
It's,
Okay.
it's on the master plow site that I had. It's on that. So they have a snow farm area that needs to be cut back. Some of them are wild grasses that need to be in those retention ponds to just get a little out of control. So I think there was like four retention ponds, and then there was just an area that got overgrown that we had to
Wow.
brush down. So
Jeez. Yeah, that's a lot. So it's been an interesting week for me. You've been having fun with the pond and taking care of that stuff. I was at Equip Expo, and got a dog, which that's no problem. It just adds more to the family. Which yeah, he's a pain in the butt right now, but he wasn't originally, but that's normal. And we've seen a lot of stuff. I was at the Echo Means Business booth, and we gave away a lot of stuff. I hosted a party, and we had probably at least 60 people nonstop in that party, which is it's not a big booth. Just to go by that, just kind of go probably like 20 by 20 maybe, but it was packed the whole time. We gave away I think two pink blowers, a couple pairs of Cujo boots, pants from Cujo, and I think a Cujo sweatshirt somebody got. So it was a good time, and everybody enjoyed. There was a lot of networking there, and just a lot of new equipment. It's interesting to go there and see the equipment and be able to go ahead and demo it. That's I think one of the main things that amazes me and amazes the other people that go there is like it's such a huge aspect of a place that they have so much area to go. So when you can go, Josh, you need to go, dude. Like they even had it.
I think I will visit. I know. Is it H&A Hardscape North America?
Yes, yeah. They start. There's a Monday, I think there.
They already started.
Because, yeah,
I
because
think I know there's guys there now that have been posting, but it's weird. So this is the first year in like let's say 5 years that I've been paying attention that I haven't seen the hype behind it. Typically, I see people posting, and granted, I follow equal a number of people from like the landscape and lawn care to the hardscape industry on social media, but I haven't seen the hype behind it this year. So I don't know if it's like starting to dwindle down a little bit, and people aren't as
dude, it
excited
was
about
packed.
it.
It was packed. Like we got the first day we were there. I think we came in at like not 10 o'clock because we raced. We went and did the walk in the morning. We got up at 5:30 in the morning. We get to the walk, and so literally after doing that, I think it wasn't as packed Wednesday. Usually Wednesdays it's not as packed sometimes because literally some of the floor doesn't open up till noon. So literally you can't go into the demo area. You can't go into the main showroom till noon unless you're an exhibitor or a dealer. And so that's kind of interesting to me as helping out with a couple of exhibitors. So to be able to walk through the floor when it's not packed and actually stand there and look at stuff and take the time to do all that stuff compared to when you're a regular person going in, you're against 20,000 people. So you're just kind of going in, with everybody in. But the parking lot wasn't packed that day. But Thursday when we got there at 9 o'clock in the morning, that parking lot was packed all the way out, dude. Like, and it's like going to an amusement park and you pull in and you're like, oh, I got to park way in the back. Like, really, I got to park way way back just to get to this
Yeah.
place, And you got all these people filing in. So I mean, there was a good amount of people. One person that we bumped into, and he turned around, shook my hand, said, "Hi, how you doing?" Would be one of your favorite guys that you'd really like to meet. It was Paver Pete.
Paver
Paver,
Pete, yeah.
yeah,
Wow, he was at GIE, huh?
yeah,
I figured
yeah.
he'd be busy over at Hardscape North America, but I guess he is trying to. I think he went on his own. I don't know if he's fully associated with Teco anymore, and I think
Okay,
he's doing his own thing, like his own educational series and stuff. But yeah, I love to
yeah,
meet that dude.
yeah. We were just walking down the aisle, and he was kind of right in front of us, and was starting to turn away from a booth, and almost bumped into my wife. And I was like, "Hang on!" And I pushed my wife off the side so she wouldn't get bumped, and he turned around and was like, "Oh, sorry." And I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" He's like, "Hey, how are you?" And I was like, "Hey, how you doing, Paver?"
You got to get him
Pete,
on here. Get him on the podcast.
yeah, yeah, it's definitely need to get Paver Pete on the podcast.
Yeah.
So that was very interesting. Ran into a couple other people that was interesting. We had a guy that he knows a Green Bay Packer wide receiver. He was there. He came into our booth on Wednesday and kind of stayed for an hour with us. So that was kind of interesting to have that. Nobody knew he was affiliated with the NFL. So that was kind of one of those things where
Why
like
was he there?
he knows a buddy of mine that came from Washington, so he came with him and kind of just chilled out for the day and spent some time with him and spent some time walking around seeing all this stuff, which
That's cool.
like people I don't think people were interested in knowing that he was there. So it was kind of like one of those things, like if you're a celebrity in a different realm and just be able to go somewhere else and be like, okay, I'm here, but
Yeah.
nobody knows who I am, and I think that was what was amazing because he was just walking around and people are just like, looking at the mowers and looking at this and looking at that, to not even really notice who he was and where he was from. So that was awesome.
I think it would be cool to visit and see a lot of the people that I have chatted with over like the last like 5 to 8 years and like IG and shit. Like
Oh yeah.
finally meet up with some people. Like all right, it's not pretending. It's not in this like fictitious realm of social media. We're like, all right,
Right.
you actually exist in person.
Right, it is. I mean, it's very interesting. Like it was like Friday after I did my talking event, I kind of went out and wanted to meet a couple of friends that I know that on IG, and so I'm just walking through the thing, and you got people running up like Scott, because they see my hair and they're like, hey, I want to say hi to you. I've talked to you on Instagram. I've seen you. I watched your posts, and it was like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Like it's interesting to, like you said, to talk to somebody that you on a constant basis talk to on Instagram and all that stuff. So it's very interesting. I think you would definitely have some people come to you and be like, "Oh, look, it's Josh the Ghost. He's here. He's."
No one knows who the fuck I am, dude. I'm so quiet and laid back. No one has no idea who I
They
am.
would know you, dude. I'm telling you, they would know you.
People in that circle, that echo circle, will know who I am. That's about
There's
it.
other people. Other people would know you.
No one
Like,
knows who I am.
oh yeah,
They're
people
going,
were
"You
asking.
that JC guy? You look
Well,
small."
Ben from Acme was asking where you were at, if you were
Well,
there or
Ben,
not.
Ben Ben's a big supporter of the show.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, you'd find people there that would know who you were. So that's the thing.
Well,
It's
we got a little get together coming up soon, so that'll
yep,
be.
yep. So it's one of those things that you don't realize until you get there. That people do realize who you are. That follow you on Instagram, follow you all over the place. So it's amazing to kind of just walk around. Sometimes I look at some of these other influencers where they're just ram packed with people and they're talking to them nonstop, and I'm just like, I'm glad I'm not you. I really am. I'm glad I don't have to go here for 2 hours and then have to get 400 pictures. So
I heard Paul Jameson was signing autographs of his book.
from what I gathered, yes, I had a talk to one of our friends, and she said that yeah, he brought his book and was trying to sign it out at one of the events, and so that was very interesting to hear that.
That's a
So
come up, huh? That's a pretty
yeah,
decent come up.
yeah, to come up from Echo Means Business, to where he wasn't doing nothing 5 years ago to signing books. That's pretty
Yeah,
good. Yeah,
successful
pretty good.
businessman.
Oh yeah, business is going good, right? So, but yeah, what I mean, if you would go there, what would you be interested in seeing?
Oh, dude, I don't know. Like, so like, is Cat there? Is Caterpillar and Bobcat there with like the
Yeah,
excavator?
yes,
So
yes.
stuff like that. I mean, dude, honestly, like even some of the technology with like the lawnmowers now, dude, would be kind of cool to see what they're doing. So like, I do like to see the advancements and stuff. Like Cat, I know Cat was bringing out like their new model skid steers, essentially the same
Mhm.
shit, but just like now they're getting rid of like the 259D, 262D, and they're coming up with like some weird numerical order for them now. So like the excavator skid steers, mini skid steers, the new technology in mowers and stuff. Some of the classes seem like they'd be interested in. I'd be interested in attending.
Yeah, yeah. They had about the one very interesting area is the hardscape area, which it's all like you have Bartell was over there, Unilock, every brick company was there.
That's NGIE or that's
Yeah.
HNA.
So when you first come up to it, I got a book here, but literally when you come up to it, I don't know if anybody can see it. There's an area. Here's I don't know if you were gonna be able to see this, but this is the whole area on the inside of the building.
Uh-huh.
So over this whole side right here is all hardscape area, and all the rest of this is lawn care stuff. So literally in that side, you had, like I said, you had Bartell, you had Unilock, you had Kitchener, you had Lumia, you had pretty much anybody you can think of was
Was
there.
Blades Direct there?
Yes, it was.
Oh man, I wish I knew he was over there. I just bought I just bought an IQ saw and a bunch of blades off him. I want to say his name's Michael Scott, but Michael Scott's the guy from The Office, so I don't know if I'm mixing up the name. And but I bust this guy's balls every time I buy from him. Like I'm probably one of the biggest pains in the ass, and it's got to the point where it's just a hobby every year. Like Blades are calls, can we hook you up with one of your associates? I'm like, as long as it's the same guy every year, and I run through and like I try to nickel and dime down to the penny, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy the shit off you anyway. I'm just having fun. But I wanted to send a bunch of people over there to mess with them, but I didn't realize that all that stuff was a GIE. I thought that was specifically like I thought they saved their efforts from, which makes sense though, because they probably get a few sales when they go in there, especially Bartel. Bartel has teamed up with Blades Direct, and there's like small discounts with those companies now.
Yeah, there's I mean, literally, like I adopted a dog there. There's places there like Square Barrel will come there, and you'll be able to buy one of their square barrels. Sure can, you can go there and buy a gas can.
Square Barrel.
Yeah, it's a square barrel. You'd have to look it up. It's some guys that follow us know what they are. It's like kind of like a garbage can, but it's squared, so that way you can lay it on its side, so you can rake the leaves in easier for like raking leaves and stuff. Yeah, you'll have to look it up.
I'm looking at it right
now. But there's like, I mean, there was tools there for your industry that I know people were trying to sell. So like the come-alongs and the hard rakes and all that stuff. Yeah. Gempler's was there. You could buy stuff from Gempler's there. There's a couple places that are chain locker that could buy chain cases. I mean, there's tons of stuff there. Yeah. There was people buying them left and right, dude. And
I have to sit up here in Mom's attic, smoke a lot of weed, and just come up with some ideas and jot them down and patent them and come up with some shit like that. Ladies and gentlemen, do not reinvent the wheel. I can't get the zone right. Do not reinvent the wheel. Just change the shapes on things.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there. And like even some of these places go ahead and sell the equipment when they're done. So literally there's guys at the end that will bring, because some guys bring their trucks, their trailers, they come there to buy. So some companies will sell their mowers. They'll sell.
Did Richie Plemons buy a mower or something down there? I saw him. I saw him with the sticker on the one in there. So
yep. He bought a mower down there. So literally, a lot of these will hook you up with buying equipment there if you're looking to buy too.
Oh, sure.
So yeah, and even if they can't buy it there, like Cujo, we work with Cujo. So Cujo literally will bring a truck full of shoes and hats and pants and all that stuff, and we'll sell them right then and there to you. And if they don't have if they run out, like, because Friday it comes down to where a lot of these companies that are selling stuff by Friday don't have a lot in hand, so they'll go ahead and they'll turn around and let you come back and get it, or they'll send it to you by mail.
Yeah, I have to give in. So I've been testing boots out for the past year, and no, I'm not giving the boots. I buy them because I'm legitimately trying to find the best boot, and I bought the Brunts. I bought Brunt. I bought whatever their popular boot is, and I'm not going to say where I am with it right now, but I think I'm like 3 months into wearing it. But the best one so far has been Timberland Pro Anti-Fatigue. And I know Cujo's been a big thing. And I still think, as far as from what I remember when they came out, where I stand, they're ugly. I think they're fugly shoes. But I guess
it's not about ugliness. It's about comfort, right?
Oh, man, I gotta have some sort of style with it, bro. I can't just put on some ugly ass shoes, man. Like, well, I get it.
I look at it. It's like it's a work shoe for me. So it's like, I have the tennis shoe type. They're yard shoes, which I wear around all the time. But like the boots, I'll wear them for pretty much fall and winter.
But they're not. They're composite, or are they even composite?
They're composite. Yeah,
they are composite. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll have to find out what their best comfort shoe is, and maybe in the spring, because we're going into the winter, I wouldn't wear them. Take a shot at them. But yeah, dude, it's the whole thing. We're like, feel good, look good, feel good. If I look like I'm going bowling, I'm gonna feel like I'm going bowling.
Yeah, I'll wear my nice ones to when we meet in Chicago in a couple of weeks, so you'll be able to see them and see how nice they look. And I'll tell you what, dude, it's one of those things, and I'm glad that I got to test out the X4s, which are their winter boots. And I'll tell you what, dude, their waterproof winter boots are definitely worth it if you're looking for something that's waterproof. I don't know what Brunt's got, and hopefully you got something that's waterproofed.
Supposedly it is, but we'll see. I haven't worn them out. I wear bottoms.
Take them into the lake. Walk them in the lake.
To go too far, because you know what? I've done that with my Tim Pros. I've done that with my Timberland Pros, and
Right. Got wet.
Dank. Yeah, they get wet and they get dank, and it's uncomfortable, and it's a waste of like $250.
Right.
But I tell you, if you got the money, right? If you got the extra money, grab the Timberland Pro anti fatigue and give them a shot. Give them a shot for like 6 months. I guarantee you that will be your top favorite boot. And there's no sponsorship or anything on the show with me and Scott, but I'm just telling you, like, these things are incredible.
See, I always have the problem with no matter what boot or shoe I have for the season, like literally it's that season. That's it. Literally, I don't get more than a year out of a boot or a shoe. So I don't know about you, but I'm like, if you get 1 year out of it, like that's it. Like
I get about 6 months, depending on how busy I am, but typically it's about 6 months.
Yeah.
I think the more beat the shit out of them. So
right, and that's the thing. I think that's the thing is and that to me, I mean, I don't want to waste $200 some dollars, but I mean, a pair of Cujo boots is 189 or something like that. So you're pretty much with tax and shipping.
But with what I do with the equipment and the saws and stuff, I gotta have. So I feel safe in those things. But I'll tell you, I have a torn ACL in one knee, and I'm actually getting MRI'd. I think I have a torn meniscus in my left knee now. So I got bad knees. So like when I've worn basic cheap old boots or like low end Timbs, man, I fail at the end of the day. I put these on, and I'm telling you, Scott, it's worth it. It's worth it to have them. I have 2 pairs that I switch back and forth with throughout the year, so I can try to get the year at them.
Right, that's good. I mean, that's the best way. I think would be the best way instead of probably having to try to after 6 months bust in a new pair. So I mean,
I bought the Brunts. I'm really big on like supporting local business and stuff, and Brunt is they're the next town over from us in North Reading. So, I bought trying to support, and we'll see how they play out after 6 months.
We'll see. You should call them up and say you want to give them some live reviews and stuff on it.
I'm going to do them regardless. I want guys that listen to the show and whatever listen to me to, it's legitimate advice.
Right, and I think that's what a lot of people like to know is like, just talking in the speaking event that I did on Friday, like we were talking about, technology and how software has changed stuff. And, one guy was talking about Clip software and I was talking about Jobber. So after the show, people were like, okay, well, I want to talk to you more about Jobber. And other, someone came over to the other guy and was like, I want to talk to you more about Clip. So it was kind of like interesting, even though we had 2 software companies there that were, promoting their stuff too, that nobody really wanted to interested in their companies. They were more interested in what we use. And I think it was just because we're the user. We use the product. Somebody's going to come to you for like Case and be like, okay, Josh, you use Case. I want to know how you feel about this model. If you got this model.
Yeah.
I think that's how a lot of us in our industry look at each other is like, hey, you use this product. What do you think about this product? So I think they'll come to you for Brunt. I think they'll come to you and say, how do you?
I've seen them work with people, but I feel like I respect companies more if they don't go after an influencer base and they rely on generic reviews. Like I like going on like Amazon, right? I like going on Amazon and being able to click on like, I never look at the 4s and 5s because you know what the 4s and 5s are going to be. I like looking at the 1s to the 3s because those are usually either Karens or on the 3s. It's usually a 3 might be a legitimate review, and that's what I base them off.
Right.
People off the bat with Brunt saying this is the most comfortable shoe I've ever worn.
Right.
I mean, up front, when I put them on, it wasn't the most comfortable shoe I've ever worn. But we'll see as time goes on how they break in. So,
yeah. I just hope it breaks in before you get your year mark on them. Did you get 2 pairs or 1 pair?
I got 1, and you know what? I should have got 2 because I think they were they were inexpensive for work boots. I want to say they were about like 120, $130 or something, which isn't bad. You know,
That's not bad actually.
no.
Are they more of the taller style or just
They're
mid?
halfway. They're not the tall
Okay,
ones. Tall
so they're
ones.
mid.
I don't like wearing. I used
Yeah.
to wear them, but no. Yeah, they come up to about instead of like a 8 or 9 inch rise or something like that.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they're decent. They're more. They almost look like the dress boots. So they're like their popular one that they pushed out. But we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't worn 12-inch ones since Doc Martens back in the day. Yeah, like
I will tell you though, like I've had them for like 2 or 3 months. It looks like I've had them for a year. So.
okay. I guess that's good. You broke them in already for a couple months. But I mean, with what you're doing, I mean, and I think that's the thing is what we do. I mean, you're gonna destroy something quick. You're gonna put it to the test quick on every time we do any type of work, unless you're somebody that's, I don't know, an influencer that walks around with them all the time and doesn't walk that much.
You got to be able to beat the piss out of these boots because that's the thing. If you're like even the Timberland anti fatigues, I've gone through a couple pairs where they've worn out a lot faster. The anti fatigue, I don't know if I just got a bad batch off of the assembly line, but I have had pairs that just didn't do it, and I beat the living piss out of these boots, And you can't just like kind of tiptoe around because at that point, yeah, you could go out and you could get like a Sketcher boot with like the memory foam in it and be content with that for like $50.
Right.
When I mowed, I bought Skechers. I wore Skechers with a composite toe. They were ankle shoes and they were amazing. And they were like $50. And I bought 3 pairs of them. And they wore out within a couple months. But man, probably one of the most comfortable mowing shoes I've ever had.
Right.
But
I think it's different.
I'll put Cujo. Do they have work boots or are they just like?
They have work boots. They have the waterproof boots that just came out. They have like a tennis shoe type yard work for mowing and stuff. And then they have like what is it? It's kind of like a waterproof slip on that you can wear too. If you're just like, some guys don't like the tennis shoes. They want a slip on type of shoe. Which they have those. And then next year, they're releasing a new boot that's slip on also, but it's more of a hard toe for like the concrete and fertilization guys. So more of a straight, like hard.
Yeah, I saw the slip-ons. Slip-ons seem to be a big thing right now. I'm not a fan of the slip-ons.
No, me neither. I mean,
those have to wear down really quick.
Yeah, I feel like it's not worth slip-on wise. I mean, unless you're doing like the ones he's got coming out for the waterproof for what is it for fertilization and all that. I can see that, but I can't see like literally, wearing them all the time. It's just not me, So
yeah, I'm on their website right now. I'm going to take a peek.
Yeah, go ahead and take a peek.
Maybe someone. I don't. There's nobody in the comments right now, but I mean, someone listens to this. Right. Go on the IG, the Facebook, and drop a line on, what Cujo boots you wear.
Yeah, let us know what kind of boots you wear altogether. Like, I'd like to know what everybody wears. I mean, that's the interesting thing is like, Josh likes Timberlands. He's trying out the Brunts. I like, Cujos. Everybody has their different type of boot they like or shoe that they like when they're out there doing that kind of work.
Price does not always mean anything. I bought, they're called Chippewas, I think, something like that. I spent $325 on these. These were the tall, they went to like my calf. And I'm like, these are going to be great. They looked great. They were great for construction, but holy crap, as far as support, man, horrible. I'll never buy them again.
And I think that it all comes down on the company too, is like that. You're talking about support. And I think it comes down to any company that you do business with is you want that company that has that quick response on with customer service instead of like, hey, here's our number. You're calling India. We'll talk to this guy overseas or something, and then we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Or you send an email and you don't hear nothing for a week. I'd rather hear an email right away when talk to a company than 2 weeks down the road.
Ooh.
You're looking.
So Cujo does have X1 landscape boot. I'm talking about Cujo, but this is a beige boot. That's actually kind of cool. It's not that ugly ass black.
See, I have the beige shoes. Right. I have the beige shoes, and I'll tell you what, I love those over the black ones. I had black ones, I had gray ones. Uh, the gray ones don't stay gray. Even the beige ones, I went out and used in the yard work, and I'll tell you what, they don't stay that color for too long when you're out there mowing grass or mulching. You
Yeah.
know, that's the hard part. Unless you want to stand there and power wash them every day, but that's defeating the purpose. I think so.
So these are water resistant. It doesn't say waterproof. The black
Right.
ones, which were the X4S, say waterproof.
Yes.
Waterproof.
They're the waterproof ones, the X4s. I tested out. I actually walked through a pond. I walked through my yard when I had like 3 inches of water on it. They stand up good so far.
I don't like
The
black
other ones,
boots.
the other ones, yeah, you're gonna get some wetness. So, but
So 180 is the price point for these beige ones. I don't like black boots. I just don't. And I think I might give these a try. So 180 is the price point. So 180 to 250 is usually where I try to keep the range for my boots. So I might give those a
give them a
shot.
try. Give them a try. Give them a try. Okay. You hit me up and we'll work something out. Okay.
Scott's 20. But here's the thing. Here's the amazing thing. I don't pay for my boots. I mean, I physically pay. I pay currency.
Your business pays for them.
My customers pay for them. So that's a lesson learned. So when I'm buying $300 boots or I'm spending $800 a year in boots, I'm not paying for them. My clients are paying for them. It's built in that I know that I have to budget that for footwear. And the footwear is important. It's just important, man.
Yeah.
You're on your feet all day,
Right. So now, okay, here's a good question to you because I think a lot of people will come back to this and would like to know that. Like, as a business owner, do you provide boots or any safety gear for your employees?
stipends. So I think I am going to get to the point where I might try to see if I can do a bulk purchase. So safety vests, yes. Hard hats, yes. Glasses, yes. You get so many, you lose them, you damage them like maliciously, then that's on you. Safety boots, honestly, once I find the absolute best brand, the Timberland Pros right now are at the top of my line, but that's part of the reason why I'm trying out Brunts and I might try these Cujos out or whatnot to see what the best option is. And yeah, if the guys don't like the brands that I work with, then yeah, I mean, you give them a stipend for $250,
Right.
It's worth it.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I think it's worth it every year if you can to pay for boots for your employees. We keep tons of safety glasses. I always buy one of the best hearing protection to go over their ears. For my guys, every year we buy a brand new pair. We buy even the little plugs to go in their ear if they want the plugs. We provide shirts, pants and shorts or whatever they want to wear. At one point we were providing that, but we kind of got away from that and let people pick whatever they want to wear, short wise. But shirts, got to have the shirts. You got to have everything else.
Perfect. I've done I do Carhartt sweatshirts and stuff like that. That was in the past. We did that gets expensive, but it's worth it.
I know a company that could hook you up with a good price. I mean,
this guy right here, he did shirts for me. I gotta fucking post him. He did grays. He did safety yellow.
You're gonna get vests too soon because you said you wanted vests.
Yeah, so what's funny is I'm trying something out. I ordered some green vests because I can't find them in the stores. I'm trying to find something that sticks out. I ordered these green vests. They should be here today through Amazon. It was $75 for pack of 10 or something, pack of 12.
Okay.
So I'm trying to see how those look and how they look out in the field. Because I want to stand out, especially we're on this retention pond job and everybody's wearing yellow safety vests. And even though they might say carbon green in the back, they still match into who has what. That's why I told my foreman, you got that big ass dump truck, put the strobes on, keep the truck running, and let people see you and notice you. But yeah.
Right.
But they're right here. But yeah, I've debated back and forth on for the winter, the reflective safety jackets. I know a lot of the bigger companies invest in that. I don't know if I want to do that because guys come and go in the winter. Maybe for my main guys, I'd spend the money on a really good high end reflective safety jacket with the name embroidered on it and everything. Any of my guys that work for me need high end gloves. That's cool, but a lot of those guys don't do that shit. They're in trucks or loaders. It's usually the shoveler guys, which I have a couple that have been with me for like 2, 3 years here and there. But no one that's like full time that shovels that I would want to give like $100 pair of gloves. I know that might sound rough, but I don't want to lose $400 to guys that show up for one storm. So
Yeah, I kind of see that. I mean, I think your best bet for like that type of thing, even us, when you first start coming to work for us, we give you just a safety vest, and
uh,
then you get your uniform after you've been there for at least a week or 2 weeks. I think it just to us, it's easier to have them just take the safety vest off, put it up, and if they ain't gonna last, they ain't gonna last. And I think during the winter, I think that's a little bit easier, especially like you said, unless they're somebody that's truly working for you on a constant basis, you know that they're going to show up. Then yeah, I can see that. Saying, hey, here's $100 jacket, here's $100 pair of gloves, here's a nice knit cap, but some of the other ones I can see, just giving them a vest and say we're totally warm. Um, I've gone out and I think it's been 2 years, so I bought my guy a pair of Carhartt, overall bibs for winter, and said, here you go. And then he ruined them last year. And I said, well, I only do it every 2 years. So I'm not going to
yeah.
come out and, buy another one this year. So he went out and bought it home. So,
I
and that's
think I
fine.
think the best things you can do are the summertime, the boot
Yeah.
stipend, rain gear stipend. Not the cheap Home Depot shit that like when you're in the rain
Oh,
for like
come
10 minutes
on.
it goes through.
I just get those ponchos, $2
Huh?
ponchos,
Oh,
$2
bro.
ponchos.
Dude, true rain gear is a couple $100 for the suit, man. Like I think I paid like $90 for my bottoms and like $70 for my top. And then I use steel toe bogs. These guys don't need steel toe bogs. The steel toe bogs are about 250, but they're worth every penny. And those are gonna last me. Those will probably I've had them for 2 years. Those ones they'll probably last me like another 3 years because I don't use them that often. But stuff like that, like you're good guys that have been with you for a while. Yeah, you take the ponchos, you give them to the new guys that have been there for like a year, because we all know how the revolving door of the landscape employment industry works. But like your guys that you actually give a fuck about, dude, what is the big deal with taking a G out of your pocket, right?
Right.
And paying for that good rain gear, those good boots, uh, safety gear, which I mean you should be doing anyway, decent safety gear. But like
Right.
that stuff that they don't have to take out of their paychecks, especially if they're loyal to you, they're a good employee, do it.
Yeah. I think safety gear, that's a must. Anything. I mean, I think, and we provide clear ones, we provide blue ones, and we provide uh, what are they? The black ones, which are pretty much sunglass type safety gear glasses.
Yeah.
And I think to go and spend. I think we paid $20 for 36 of them. Like, dude, it's worth it in the long run to go ahead and buy a bunch of them and have them on hand. What's it going to cost? Like you said, what's it going to cost you? A couple $100, $200 a year to have good safety gear for each guy that you have out there. It's worth it in the long run.
Teach their own. I mean, dude, I'll tell you, I was number one being cheap. Like I would buy for myself. I would go through like 3 pairs of Walmart boots thinking I was saving money. Yeah, I was saving money off the top end, but when you're spending 50, $60 3 times a year, you may as well buy those good boots that will last you a year. Those,
Right.
tens or whatnot. Same thing with the rain gear. I never put the money into rain gear. I went to working gear one time. I saw it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. And it keeps you dry. And the one thing I can't stand is being wet. That's my biggest pet peeve when I'm working is being wet. I throw those on. I spent money on myself on a reflective rain jacket. So when I'm out on a site or I got to get out and pop out and measure something, I'm not getting covered. The Carhartts, like, man, like I used to make fun of people who wear Carhartts. Like, you spend all that money. I bought my first Carhartt jacket like years ago, and I was like, holy shit. The Carhartts, I bought like high end Carhartts for some of my guys. You don't even need a jacket in the winter. These things are so good. So
Right.
spend the money, especially if you got guys or a guy that you want to keep and take care of. Like that stuff goes a long way, especially if a guy doesn't have to take, a few $100 out of his pocket to take care of that. Keep food
Right.
on the table, and then you buy them boots, and you know what, you write it off. Write
Yeah.
it off.
Here's a good one for you on too on the. So we're good on the safety gear and buying the stuff. Now, do you? Okay, I do this, and you're probably gonna say I'm freaking nuts, but once a week, once a week, and I've done this for I don't know. It's been at least 12 years that I've done this in a row. Is once a week I go ahead and I go out and buy my guys lunch. I buy them lunch. I buy them drinks that day. I always provide water every week. So every week I go out and get a case of water. I get, if they drink certain thing, I'll get some drinks. I'll go ahead and buy Gatorade. Now, do you do that for your guys? Do you buy them lunch once a week, once a month? Do you provide them with water? Do you provide them?
So water, Gatorade, like on the really hot weeks, yeah. If we're there, we're on a hard job away, yeah. As far as like the lunch and coffees, so the way we're weird. Like one week, like one guy will buy coffee and stuff. All like the guy that's running will usually spot guys, and then like I have my foreman will buy coffee all week, coffee and sandwiches, and then I'll go and buy coffees and sandwiches all week, and then another guy will go and run and grab pizza, and then he'll grab sandwiches. So it's not like something I do all the time, but like we all usually help each other out
Okay.
as far as going through stuff for that. In the winter time, yeah, like if we're when we had our big site, we lost our big site, FYI. We buy pizza and drinks and stuff like that. Yeah. For the most part, some of these guys are so fucking picky that you never know what they want. So it's like, hey, yeah.
Well,
Like,
I mean, it's easy. I mean, years ago when I first started doing it, I would just go out and buy like two pizzas and some pop and water and just pull up at the site because usually, I mean, we've been doing this one big site for I don't know, probably 15 years. So it was one of those things. They would be out there working. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go run. Be right back. Run, grab pizza, come back. Say, here you go. Here's lunch. Take a 20-minute break, eat some pizza, have something to drink, and then get back to work. I think it's a morale booster for them to be able to sit down and actually take a minute and eat with everybody together, and then just head back to whatever they're doing.
yeah.
So
We're big on the car. Like I said, we're big on like one guy will run and grab it all week, so it switches off for everybody. So every once in a while, yeah, we'll do it. We'll do stuff like that. We'll like grab something, but for the most part, everybody's usually so lined up with getting stuff done. Or guys will run and do their errands on their break. So
right. Okay, so now we got that figured out here. You're cheap, okay? So since you're cheap and doesn't buy lunch every week like I do, okay, I'm just joking with you, Josh. But do you
Yeah, but we
provide?
don't work Saturdays.
Yeah, I know, I know. I work Saturdays. I'm sorry. Uh, I can't help it. My guys like to work sometimes, and I'm always busy. But here's another one. Do you provide bonuses? I know a lot of people are providing bonuses for employees on like quarterly, yearly performance bonuses. I know there's a couple companies out there that are pushing like to do like a performance to pay type of pay altogether. Is that something that you would do, or is that something that you've done in the past or thought about it?
Yes, I've done it in the past. I slightly do it now. I'm not big enough to do it across the board, but it is
Oh,
something that's into play because, uh, like any industry, you have caps on what your wage would be in this industry.
right,
But obviously,
$100
everybody,
an hour, yeah,
yeah, but like like if you're a laborer, but no, like if you're a straight laborer, that like you might cap out at $25 an hour. If
right,
you're a laborer that doesn't have managerial skills, but you can run equipment and stuff, maybe you get up to $30 an hour. But you're probably going to cap there. That's the realization of it. Now, yeah, you might be someone that wants to make the extra money, so having that incentive to be there, but it has to work both ways. Um, I also, for guys that have been with me long term, it's paid lunches, paid vacations. I pay all the holidays except for two. Um, and I don't have to pay them because I'm under a certain employee rate, so I choose not to. Um, but yeah, the bonus incentive, like I have a guy that's um, doing my sales this winter, cold calling and everything, and it was offered like if you wanted to go on a fixed salary for it, for so many hours a month, or if you wanted a percentage of the sales and a bonus for what you hit. So he decided to go that way, and
okay.
we formulated how it would work out for him. Um, I'm to the point where I'm training a couple guys to be able to run hefty crews themselves. There will be more of a I'll call it a performance bonus right now, but it more or less be that you get done on or before time with little to no punch lists, as far as like there can't be any discrepancies as far as like, okay, you said you took care of this wasn't done, it wasn't done to par, it wasn't done to stand, like what the systems and processes are. So yeah, there will be stuff like that. Everybody needs to be able to make a little bit extra money no matter what.
Okay, so you're going on that running crews, the guys running the crews. So now, how would you do that? Would you, okay, if are you paying bonuses on like a weekly basis
Quarterly.
or quarterly? Okay, okay. Because I've seen some people where they do it weekly, and then the guys will falter, and then you get a call like last minute, like, oh hey, they didn't do this, and then you're like, shit, that
I
just
don't
cost
believe in
me.
I don't believe in that, because let's say you get a guy that makes and I'm just throwing numbers out there. Let's say you make a guy that makes an extra $1,000 on his paycheck last week, right?
Right,
A couple things get fucked up the next week. He's not really going to care that much because he made $1,000. And some
right,
people's thought process is like, well, if I break that up, that's like an extra $500 into 2 weeks. So if I miss that one, I'll go on to the next one. But if you go, hey, listen, this is how it has to work. Complaints have to be down. Job orders have to be done. Your paperwork has to be done. Your payroll has to be submitted without any errors. At the end of the quarter, we look at what you had. However you want to formulate it, for whatever reason, you have that timeline to look back and say, hey, this is what you were actually deserving of. This is the agreement. Here you go. Rather than like weekly, it's great. Now, I do understand that sometimes guys have to pay this for people to stay. I just talked to a buddy of mine who has a guy that's kind of running him through the ringer. It's starting to piss me off a little bit, where you had to give him extra $1,000 to stay.
wow,
Yeah, and that really kind of pissed me off that someone would have him by the balls, because he does a lot for this guy, and the guy's taking advantage of him, and I don't like saying that. And I told him that he should start shopping and find someone else. So I do think that if you have to do it, you have to make it a reach. You don't want to make it that someone can just get that extra $500 to $1,000 a week. If maybe you have it where, like, if you have, maybe you have 4 guys and you need those 4 guys to get a mowing route done. And if one of them calls in and screws you up, you're gonna miss your kid's recital. You're gonna be working till 8 o'clock at night. You say, hey guys, here's how it's gonna work. At the end of the month, if everybody comes in and you take care of your routes and you don't have comebacks, I'm gonna give you guys an extra $200 cash at the end of the month, or however you want to do it.
right, okay, I see that. I mean, now, okay, would you go cash or would you do like stocks, dividends, gift
Depends.
cards, cash?
Gift card, cash can't really write off. Comes back and hits you. Gift cards you can write off.
Right.
All depends. Could be a pair
Or
of cell.
check. I mean, I used to work for a big company. I hate to say this, but I used to work for a big company when I started my business, and we used to get bonuses, quarterly bonuses, and then we usually got, I think it was a yearly bonus that we got, but it was always in check wise. So they would always give you a check, and then they would tax it. So instead of like if there was like a $500 check, they took the 500 and then you got tax taken off of it. So it kind of pissed some people off because they would always be like, okay, well, if you got your goal every day for a month, these months straight for the quarter, we'll give you a $500 bonus. And then they would get the check and they'd be like, oh shit, it's not really 500. It's only like $380 because of the time tax comes off of it. It ain't that amount. So would you do check or would you do like the gift card just be easier?
So this might change as my company grows. But what you're
Right.
saying, I completely agree with, because I used to get the $500 bonus, and it's not $500; it's $300.
Right.
And at the end of the day, so I learned this from a guy that I work with before I started his company. Is if he wanted to give you a $500 bonus, he would give you the difference. So he would add what you would get taxed in it. So when you got taxed, you were getting the $500 check.
Okay.
And that might change as I grow and I have more and more people. But I feel like there's different ways. Not everybody needs cash. Like I was going to say, pair of Red Sox tickets, pair of Celtics tickets for your family. Maybe you take the guys out. You find ways to make it work. At the end of the day, someone's paying taxes on it, and not to sound like a prick, why should I have to pay tax? Like, I'm giving you the extra money, because at the end of the day, you're getting taxed on it, but you're going to get it back on the back end. It's coming back to your tax return season. You're paying into it. That whole sum that that $200, $250 that you're getting hit, you're gonna get some of it back. But yeah, I think as of right now, I would probably write the difference to make sure that they're getting. And some people, yeah, I would take the hit. I pay cash, and it goes on my income. I'm a pastor entity, so the profits of my company I get taxed on personally.
Yeah, so I get what you're saying. I mean, I feel like that's the easier way to do it is the way you explain it. Um, I mean, technically, I mean, I would probably do the same way, or like a bonus, like a 15% off of what you made for the year. Um, that was another thing that they did too. After everybody complained, they switched it to you produce so much because we were producing 100,000 a year for them. I ended up producing $1 million for them in one year, so it was like, here you go, here's 5%. So they wanted to do that to kind of push the bonuses every which way they could. So it's just I feel like that's the way to do it, or take care of your employees. I mean, that's the main thing. I mean, I think we're going off of like getting them boots, getting them any kind of gear that they need is taking care of your employees. If you can give them bonuses, that's awesome. If you can get them lunch, that's even awesomer. They probably love you if you have lunch. Just don't falter on that, and just or get them coffee like Josh does with his guys every once in a while. He goes to Dunkin' Donuts and buys them like a whole, half of a rack of donuts for him to eat. So, I think there's different things we can do to, to keep them busy and happy, right?
Um, I will say this: during COVID, it was an employees market. Employees market meaning they could walk into most companies in most trades and kind of dictate what they wanted to make. You got guys right now that are still left over making $30 an hour on a mower. I know that sounds hard to believe, but at
Right.
least in this area, that's what guys were having to pay to bring people in because they didn't have anybody and the influx of work was there. You're
Right.
starting to go through that market correction. It's still an employee's market, not in the sense that they can name their wage. Wages are starting to go back. Well, they're trying to settle to where they were again.
Right.
But there are a lot of options because a lot of people, because of COVID, realized there were so many different opportunities to make money. So I think there's a giant void across the trades. I'm talking to a guy that was in the plumbing field, and they are having a hard time. This guy's paying $40 an hour, opportunity for overtime. He's paying health benefits, 401k, dental, and a couple other things, and he still can't get guys in the door. And
Well,
I was like, damn, dude, I might take you up on that. Like, holy crap.
right.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a
you
lot.
got to remember. So when it comes down to these little things like boots, like I know it's hard to kind of spit that money out, and maybe like you kind of your grit gets the best of you. Like, why should I have to buy this motherfucker boots? But it's like at the end of the day, if you get a guy that's kind of nail and grit with you through the year or two, like whatever, dude, give it a shot, throw it out. I know guys will spend more money on beer and weed and cigarettes, and then complain that they got to buy a guy a pair of boots or throw him a stipend or something.
Right. I think that's so. There's a lot of people that complain about that, but I think your best thing is to take care of them. And like you said, yeah, it's kind of hard to find employees right now. Um, and I
Let
think
me ask you
some
a question. Let me ask you a question. So if you were an employee looking for a job right now, let's say you were 40 again, right? And
40. I am still 40. What are you talking about?
I know I'm just messing with
You
you.
mean 20? Like
No, let's say okay. Let's say you're in
30.
your
How about
let's say
30?
you're
How
in
about
30.
30? Okay, let's
You're
go
between
30.
30 and 35 years old, right? Got
Okay.
kids, or a kid. You married. Are you looking for across the board, like in this industry or like a trade industry, retirement, health, good pay? Like, what do you like? Not as an employee, not as an employer, but Scott, the employee. What are you actually looking for? Like, what
I'd
would
be
you?
looking for like health insurance. I'd be looking for a good pay that includes health insurance. Um, Now
What's
thinking
good
about like
pay? What would be
retirement.
good pay if you were 30, 35? What would be good pay right now with health insurance?
Right now, depends on how many kids you have. I mean,
You got two kids.
it's
Two kids.
2 kids. Okay, 2 kids. I'd say probably about $20 an hour.
20
Depending
bucks.
if I have experience.
And
If
where
I
are
have
you
experience.
located?
If I didn't have experience, I'd say 16, 15, 16 an hour. I'd say
Where are you located?
Ohio.
I
I'm
just want
located in
people. I
Ohio.
want
Right
people that are listening to
now. Yeah.
know where like where you are for
Right.
that rate.
In
And
Ohio,
what would
like our minimum wage is 10.10. Okay, and I'd say most in our green industry are starting out at $16 an hour, just for no experience.
yeah,
Okay, and that's gone up in the last couple of years. I mean, I'd say since COVID. it was like you could probably get someone before COVID for $10 an hour, $12 an hour. Someone good for like probably 15. Now you're getting with somebody with experience, you're probably looking at like $20 an hour.
And what would you expect to pay for health insurance per week? At $20 an hour, you're making $20 an hour in Ohio with experience. What are you expecting to pay for health insurance per week?
Probably at least $25, $50 a week.
That's for you or for a family plan?
For a full family.
That's fucking insane. Okay, so here's where I'm at. So we're higher on the minimum wage, but it's around the same thing. So we're $15 an hour minimum wage.
Okay, so I'm coming there. Okay.
Yeah. But let's say starting pay for a labor is probably about $20 an hour, right? So essentially the same exact thing for you. You were 10, 16, right around that, right? 16, 20.
Right.
So 20, 25 for experience. For me personally, I'd be going in with my experience and knowing how to run a job site. I'd be around $30, $40 an hour is what I would want. My expectation, if I could find someone to give me health insurance for $25 a week, I'd probably take $25 to $30 an hour, because my family plan at most of the places I've worked is about $150 a week.
Wow.
With deductibles and copay.
Yeah.
So, and that's like Blue Cross, New England, but
right.
It gets expensive, but granted, there's the Health Connector and stuff like that you could buy through. But ideally, for like experience for me, if I myself walked into your company and you were in Massachusetts or in Eastern New England, I would be looking for $30, $40 an hour to survive. And then probably looking
this way. I mean, what does milk cost in your area? I think that all comes back down to like what living expenses are in your area.
So I don't drink regular milk, but
I know that. I mean, you drink silk milk, right?
No.
No?
I drink milk. I drink Oatly.
Coconut milk.
No.
Coconut milk?
Oat milk.
Oat milk? The silk does oat too.
I don't do silk though. Silk's disgusting. I do a local. I do Oatly, local brand. But milk, I think milk's like $6 to $7 a gallon right now. I think.
I mean, I'm paying $5 a loaf of bread. Well, actually, I just paid $6.99 for a loaf of bread, and that's not even a huge loaf of bread because I eat gluten free. So literally, I mean, dude, that's a lot more. I mean, our expenses are definitely higher, but I think yours is about the same, probably around the same price.
I mean, we're in different areas of the country, but it works out to the same thing.
Right.
It washes out. But I mean, like for me to make that like that $30 an hour, a little over $1,000 a week. You know what I mean? I'm after taxes, man. I'm still struggling. I'm like, average rent out here. Like if you go outside of Boston, which now you have to go outside of Metro West, which is probably about an hour from Boston, and you're probably looking at like $1,500 to $2,000 for a 2-bedroom, and that's cheap, and that's in like a neighborhood with probably not the best school districts. So now you're looking at schools. So that $30 an hour, it doesn't go that far, and that's what people aren't realizing. Like things are fucking expensive, dude. And then you add in like the co-pays for the insurance. Do you have a spouse that's working and not? Like for me, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense for my wife to go to work because for the price we were paying for daycare out here was more than she would make less than daycare would cost. So it made more sense for her to stay home, and I would try to hustle and grind.
Right. I mean, I feel like it's rent around here is pretty much about the same price. I mean, literally, if you want something in a shitty area, you're looking about anywhere from like $600 to $800 anymore. To be in a nice area, I mean, you're looking at least $2,000 a month, if not more. I literally was just talking to someone that does some work for a builder, and he said, literally, it's not totally a huge, nice area, but they're renting 2-bedroom places for $2,000 a month, nonstop, and that's going to be the going rate around in this area soon. And it's bad for somebody that's making $10 an hour, because, like you said, $10 an hour, you're not going to be able to survive off. And pretty soon, $15 an hour, you're not going to be able to survive off of.
And what they're getting guys in our industry, especially over here, you're getting guys that make too much to qualify for assistance, but not enough to survive. And that's why you
Right.
got guys that are grinding out and doing side jobs. So this all goes back to what I was trying to say with the boots and stuff. Yes, you want to try to give a stipend, because for a guy that, yeah, he makes $30 an hour, but even if he's good with money and he has to pay groceries, has to pay rent, he has a car, or he has car insurance, there's not much left over. So to come out of pocket for that 250, and this has been a debate where some guys will say, no, you're out of your fucking mind. Let them figure out how to do it. Nah, like, dude, help your guy out. You know, that 250 could be a grocery bill for a week.
Right. Right. I think it's just gonna. I see in the next couple of years it's gonna get worse, and I don't, employee wise, it's gonna be harder to get people to work, and it's gonna be you're gonna look at like you. I mean, your guys are higher at just a regular weight laborer, so I think that's gonna go up. To get somebody to work, we're looking at like probably in my area, probably like 25, $30 in the next couple of years. Your
Yeah. Oh
area,
no,
probably.
you're definitely, because you know what? How I'm sitting in Massachusetts right now. Massachusetts, you used to be able to get an apartment in the city, inside the city of Boston. You could find an apartment. I'm gonna go back 13 years ago. I was living in Rosendale, which is part of Boston, but just outside the heart of Boston. And I was
Right.
paying $1,500 for a 3-bedroom apartment in a triple decker. They didn't include anything. I had to pay my rent, central AC, all that stuff. That's fine, but that's what was going. That same apartment right now is probably about $3,700 a month with nothing included.
Right.
So it's expensive. Like, everything has gone up. So what I see is slowly the state, the areas that have been, you could have got an apartment for $500 a month, are now
Right.
going up to 2,000, and that's slowly going to work its way through Hartford, Connecticut, all the way down to your area. It's slow. People are going to be pushed out. They're going to get pushed to Middle America, and
Right.
everything out in your end in the cornfields is going to start going through the roof.
Yeah.
Look,
I mean, we
they're
just.
putting buildings in wherever they can fit them. They're squeezing them in
Yeah.
there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Everything's going up. I mean, I think it's just going to eventually keep going up, and that's why you got to know your numbers and keep pushing to, you know, produce what you can, and make sure your numbers are totally correct, so that way you're pricing right. Um, it's just going to be one of those things year to year. So, um, so this was a great talk, guys. Thank you guys for listening. Josh, thank you for freezing your butt up there in the cold and without heat. Without it's going to be even. I'm gonna see your thing's gonna freeze over eventually here. I can see that now.
I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna work on the electrical up here through the beginning of the winter, and then we'll work on getting some drywall up here.
Yeah, at least behind you. Yes, yes. Or put something back there. Put some. There you go. Put some blocks back there. Get some faux blocks so it looks like you're like at a job site. Yeah.
I'm gonna put a picture of JC laid out right here. So when we talk.
Yeah. 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 That'll be cool. Well,
So
thank
we
you
might
guys.
wait. So to announce, I
Yeah.
know I'm blowing up the
Go
spot,
ahead.
but we might actually have an opportunity to do an in-person podcast.
Yes, yes. We are going to be in Chicago in a couple weeks in November. So what we will probably be doing, since we're all going to be together, me, JC, and Josh. Don's been on the show, so Don will be there, and then our buddy Nick will be there. We're going to do a big podcast live from Chicago, probably in our hotel or somewhere. Maybe we'll walk the streets. I don't know. We'll find somewhere out there to do it, and we'll even see if we can get Mike in there, Bedell. So. It'd be
Nick's
nice
got
to
to
get
come on, dude. Bedell's got to come on there. We're gonna make him.
Yes, we'll get a whole bunch of people on it, and we're gonna have a great live podcast. Ready to look for it. It is November 12th, so definitely look for that, November 12th, and we will post it more as we get closer, so that way everybody can watch it, and it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a really interesting live podcast from
Be the
Chicago.
first in person, the three of us together
Yep.
hosting this show in person. So we got to
Yep.
blow that up for the live so everybody watches.
Yep, that's going to be later. That one is going to be later too. It's going to be a later, late night one. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be about 8 o'clock at night and be interesting. So I think we'll have more people definitely coming on and listening and watching at the same time. So thank you, Josh, for being on. JC, wherever you are, safe travels, buddy. Get back soon, and we'll see you guys all next week. Continue to listen to us on iHeart, Spotify, anywhere else. Watch us, like us, and definitely comment on what kind of boots you wear, and what you guys do for your employees. We'd like to hear. I mean, definitely love to hear some stuff. So